Motivation is not something you randomly find and then it stays with you forever. It's also nothing that just you happen to stumble upon. Motivation in essence is always there. You're always motivated to do something. Otherwise you wouldn't have a reason to do it in the first place. You feel motivated to drink because you're thirsty, and you feel motivated to eat because you're hungry. In that essence, your motivation is always there. The only problem is, it's usually behind a thick, fat wall of thoughts. Of ifs, ands, and buts, of should do's and can do's, and all sorts of thoughts. And that's why you can never access it. It's still there, you're just not consciously aware of it, or not in a state where you can just take it and then use it. Instead, it just happens that you find a reason or find some thought that kind of breaks through that wall, that then allows you to access that feeling of motivation. But in the essence, it's still there. It's always there. So we just have to find a way to kind of get around that wall or remove that wall entirely. And that being said, even when we do that, motivation is still a feeling. It's still an emotion. It's not something that lasts forever. It's something that you have to rekindle. It's something that you have to regrow. It's something that you have to keep working on. And that being said, it doesn't stay on its own. Rather than saying you can be constantly motivated, what you can say is you can constantly get motivated. And you can become motivated again and again and again and again, and therefore get an almost seamless run and an almost seamless feeling of motivation, even though that's not quite how it works. That all being said, I want to run you through some of the most important aspects of motivation that will hopefully help you keep it more in your own life. So the first aspect of this is that you need to find a big reason for yourself. And this reason I cannot teach you. I can't know what that reason is for you. I can tell you a great reason is to make a lot of money, or to help change the world, or to do all sorts of things. But if that doesn't click for you, if that doesn't make you feel anything, then that's not a thought you should stay with. It's not something that will help you out at all. The only thing that it is a thought. It's an idea. And it's a nice idea. But with motivation, what you have to realize is that it's an emotion first. It's a feeling. And unless you feel it, whatever thoughts you're having are logical maybe, but that's about it. So you need to find your own reason, your own calling, your own cause, your own process of thoughts, your own reason that's bigger than you, that will get you motivated. And here's the important part. Once you have that reason, you need to write it down. Because you forget why you were motivated to do stuff. You forget your motivations. It happens all the time. Once the feeling is gone, you don't remember why you felt it in the first place, and you just don't remember all of these things. So to get that motivation back, to kind of keep that on its seamless flow, you have to create a list or some form of tool that will remind you of all the reasons why you can be motivated, so that you can access those and then get that feeling back as often as you need to have it. So, for you, the first thing is to find a great reason. What makes you tick? And I want to make a discrepancy here. This is not what makes you tick so that you need to be productive. I want you to find a reason that makes you want to be productive. So for example, a need to be productive is for your children. You need to do something so that your kids can have a good life. That's something that you need to do, or that you feel the need to do. Maybe you're morally obligated to do it, maybe you were trained to do it, maybe you grew up and maybe your parents taught you how to behave. It doesn't really matter. As long as you think that you need to do this, it is definitely a good motivation. But it's a motivation that will keep you productive without feeling good while you're being productive. And if we're going to look for a reason, we might as well look for one that makes us feel good and want to be productive. We'll take it all. We won't short ourselves on anything. We want it all. So, what is that for you? What makes you feel like you want to do more? Maybe it's the thought of being able to travel the world and seeing amazing sights. Maybe that's the emotion of awe when you stand in front of an amazing thing of nature. Maybe when you see a beautiful waterfall or a canyon that's just amazingly vast. Maybe you get a feeling of bliss and amazement and awe. And maybe that you can connect to whatever you're doing. And then you're not doing it for you, per se. You're doing it to get more experiences of awe and amazement in your life. And that's something that you can strive towards. That's something that you can want. But the important part here, which most people get confused on and which most people don't allow themselves to do, is that this can be anything. No one's going to see this list. No one's going to find your reason. It doesn't matter for anyone else. We're not trying to get anyone else motivated with your reason. You don't have to justify this. All you need to do is have something that clicks with you. Whatever that is. Let it be weird. Let it be stupid. It doesn't matter. If it clicks for you, it clicks for you. Maybe one thing that really happily motivates you is that you want to win a Pokemon tournament. Or maybe you want to win a canoe championship. Or maybe you want to be able to do a double somersault off of your couch. I don't know. Whatever it is that makes you feel motivated to be productive, do that. Have that reason. Remind yourself of that reason. Connect to that. Maybe when you say you work harder, it allows you to have more money for more Pokemon cards, which you need to win your Pokemon tournament, and that inspires you. If that's something that inspires you, then great. Keep it. Because it clicks for you. That's what's important. We don't care about the rest. If the mansion doesn't motivate you, throw it out. If the yacht doesn't motivate you, throw it out. That's not a reason that clicks for you. Ignore it. But that also means that you have to take the responsibility for it, because no one can know that. I have no idea what your reasons might be. I'm not even sure I know my own reasons. I know some of them. So you have to take the time and think about it, and especially feel it. That should also get you a little bit away from all those desires that other people want, or all those expectations they have of you. Because that's not going to kick it for you. That's not going to make anything click. All that's doing is them saying, hey, this motivates me, this is a great goal, I believe in this, so I'm right, you should get it too. Oh, sorry. I don't feel anything while thinking that, so you know what? I'll pass. But thanks for the advice. This has to be your own thing. This has to be something that makes you feel like you want to do it. If you feel like you need to do it, that's a good first step, but I want you to dig a little bit deeper to get what you want to have. Let and allow yourself to have free reign over your thoughts so you can choose whatever it is you want to have. This is the first big spark you have to rekindle that fire of motivation. And you need to keep this around. Write it down once you feel something. And then, when the reason's not good enough anymore, when you don't feel motivated while thinking that reason, that just means you need to dig again. You change, your reasons will change, your feelings will change. You have to stay on your toes and you have to keep adapting. Sorry, again, motivation requires a bit of work, but it is within your control. That's the good news. The other thing that you really need to do is you need to do things and stop thinking about them so much. If you want to do something, take the courage and do it. Be brave enough to just go for it. And stop thinking about all the reasons why you shouldn't do it, all the reasons why you can't do it, and find a way to do it anyway. Because here's the thing. Whatever you want to do comes from an emotion. It's something that you want to do. It's there. That's a fact. You want to do this. Any thought that comes after that is trying to convince you that you don't actually want to do this. Maybe because it's too hard, or because it makes you too uncomfortable, or because it's too scary, or because of some other reason. But these are just justifications. These are not real reasons. They're just trying to put you back into the closet. They're trying to put you underneath the carpet. They're trying to put your emotions away and say, no, I'm not associated with those emotions. But that's not going to make them any less true. If you want to win that Pokemon tournament, for example, you want to win it. Who cares what anyone else thinks? Who cares whether it's logical or not? Who cares whether that thought falls into the title that you have? It's an emotion, it's a desire of yours. Own it. Work on it. Because when you're being honest with yourself and when you're actually doing the things that you want to do, and when you're thinking less about them, you feel better and you feel more motivated because you feel more in control of your own life. And you feel like you can do everything you want to do, and that's huge. But for that, you really have to take control of it. If you're at a party and you want to leave, don't figure out what would be a good excuse. Just get the hell out of there. Leave. Because you want to leave. And staying for other people, yeah, that's nice, but that's not going to fulfill you. Now, I'm saying all of these things, but I'm saying them within reason. If you want to be better friends with someone, then you want to leave, then stay. That's totally okay. You don't have to go. Again, think about what you feel and what you want, and then act accordingly. Whatever that means to you. But the important part is that you act and you don't think. If you're not enjoying your time at the party, but you feel like you want to stay, then change something so that you start enjoying it. Stop being a victim, because that's super limiting in terms of motivation. If you keep limiting yourself, you keep increasing that blockade of thoughts that allow you to get to your motivation. And then you might find that you're motivated once in a blue moon, but nowhere else. But if you keep doing the things that you want to do, those add to your motivation. Every one of those things gets rid of a couple of these thoughts, decreases the size of that wall, and allows you to easier access your own motivation. So something for you to write down on this note is that you need to be honest with yourself. As long as you're honest, you can do anything. Even if you say you want to leave the party, but you choose not to, that's fine. It's still your choice. We just want to make you get control of it, because that increases your motivation. And then I have one little extra tip for you in terms of getting a list that gets you motivated, and that's write down all those things that made you feel motivated in the past. There was a reason for that. They made you feel motivated for a reason. The next time you feel motivated, take a minute and think back to when you last felt like this, when you last felt this motivated. And try to think of as many different things as you can. But you have to have felt the motivation. Otherwise it doesn't count. Otherwise it's worthless. Again, motivation is about the feeling, not about the logic behind the feeling. Just about the feeling. So look back. When was the last time I felt like this? What happened? What were my surrounding thoughts? What people was I interacting with? What was I doing? Where was I at? And write all of these factors down. Eventually, as you keep increasing on this list, you'll find some commonalities. And once you find these commonalities, once you find that red thread, once you find that silver lining that kind of goes through all of these, you can access them more easily. Maybe you recognize that you felt really motivated when you were around a certain friend. And then if you go dig a little bit deeper, you found out why. Because they said they were proud of you a lot. And that made you feel really good. Okay, there you go. Now you have an access point. Now you have a back door that you can get to your motivation, like around that wall of thoughts. And you just have to maybe say, you know what, I'm proud of myself. And that makes you feel motivated. But you want to write these things down so that you have them for easy access. Even if you don't find that silver lining, as long as you can get yourself back into those thoughts, back into that situation, that feeling may spring up again. Because you have a memory associated with that feeling. And if you can trigger that memory again, you might also trigger the emotional release of it. It's something that you definitely should try out, because remember, motivation is something that you have to rekindle. So you have to find a lot of different access points, because some of them may not work all the time. So you have to find a huge list, a huge arsenal of weapons that get you motivated again. Keep a list. Keep writing more in that list and then use it every time you choose to. If you want to feel motivated, bring out that list. Do the first thing on that list. See if that gets you motivated. And then keep adding on to it. And eventually, you'll have like a full list of random things that you can do that make you feel motivated. Maybe you get even motivated by watching motivational videos or watching a certain movie or listening to a certain song. Put that on your list. As long as it makes you feel something, put it on your list so that you can control your motivation. The more you control your gain, the more knowledge you gain about how to access it, and the easier it will be for you to stay motivated or for you to keep getting motivated.